Hello, week. Welcome. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live from news about Desawe Kanda, also live on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. I am Alfred Ocansey. Tonight, Member of Parliament for the Esutifi South constituency, Ebenezer Kweku Ado, alleged to have incited the youth to attack a NIMOS task force expected at the Criminal Investigations Department to assist investigations as the story unfolds. He has denied any involvement. We'll touch on that and hear from some anti-Galamsey campaigners tonight. Yet another blow to the case of the former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, Kwabena Edubwai, now and his wife, as the Court of Appeal dismisses the attempt to overturn the High Court's decision on further disclosures. Stay with us. We've got details for you. Massive deployment of police and military to Garu Timpani in the Upper East region following the shooting of 2 immigration officers. One of them has been pronounced dead. Now, we have details for you on this particular one, the latest on this rather unfortunate development and more, including the arrest of the acting head of legal at the Ghana Revenue Authority in connection with this SML scandal. So we've got that and more. Stay with us here on Ghana Tonight. You're an integral part of the conversation. Let's hear from you. The hashtag we're using is Ghana Tonight on Facebook and on X. Let's get talking. Let's settle for Ghana Brace.
The Attorney General has withdrawn charges against Edward Akwaku, General Manager of Akonta Mining Company Limited, who was accused alongside NPP Ashanti Regional Chairman Bernard Enchibwesiakun, alias Wuntumi, of illegal mining and tree felling in the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve. Both had pleaded not guilty and were on bail, while 2 others remain on the run. Akwaku was alleged to have facilitated mining without a license and the unauthorized felling of over 300 trees in the forest reserve. The Upper East Regional Police Command has confirmed the death of 1 immigration officer following an attack by unknown assailants. The assailants shot 2 immigration officers on Sunday, 2nd November 2025 at about 10 p.m. in Nagani, Basionde, Garu Tampani. A statement from the police command says they are on a manhunt for the unknown assailants. The Inspector General of Police has dispatched a team of investigators and intelligence officers to Garu Tampani to support the probe. Government is set to reduce the 1,070 cedis regulatory fee for courier services in a bid to ease the financial burden on operators and improve compliance within the sector. Minister for Communication, Digital Technology and Innovation, Sam George, at a Public Accounts Committee disclosed that the revised courier registration fee will be captured in the new fees and charges bill to be presented to Parliament.
Many of these young men who do courier services, but for that job, will be unemployed and will pose a security risk to our country. We've decided that we're giving them a 50% moratorium on the 1,000 Ghana cedi to allow proper uptake. Once we are able to pass the new fees, in the first 3 months of next year, we would expect that all of them do the needful and register.
Majority Leader Mahama Yariga has called for effective management of procedures to control what he has described as abuses by the minority. He says the minority often ignore laid down protocols and introduce new issues on the floor during their commentary on the business statement.
After I have read business statement, without going through the rules for introducing matters, They will use business statement as an excuse to introduce everything from archaeology to zoology. So I plead with the clerk and the speaker that let's start managing the rules properly. There is a procedure for doing everything in the chamber.
The Ghana Journalists Association has expressed deep disappointment over the Attorney General's decision to discontinue the prosecution of a suspect in the 2019 murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swali. President of the association, Albert Jumfo, says the development is a dark chapter in the country's media history, calling on the Attorney General and Police CID to provide further clarity.
GJA finds it extremely worrying that after such a heinous crime that shocked the nation and the international media community, justice continues to elude the family of Ahmed Swali and the entire media fraternity. The inability of the state to bring the perpetrators of this crime to book after nearly 7 years represents a grave blot on Ghana's record as a democracy that prides itself on the rule of law and freedom of expression. It also sends a dangerous signal that crimes against journalists can go unpunished.
Germany will invest some 65 million euros in Ghana's economy as it seeks new partnerships for growth and development. The visiting German President Frank-Walter announced this after holding bilateral talks with President John Mahama.
Together we're working to lay the foundation for a sustainable economic development that will benefit Ghana, but I hasten to add it will also benefit Germany. And I'm happy to say that today we've also been able to bring good news, good tidings, that of course pending on the approval of the German Parliament, the Bundestag that is, Germany will again commit more than 65 million euro to Ghana in the framework of our development cooperation.
There's more news on 3news.com. Make some time and visit 3news.com. This is Ghana Tonight. We're live on 3FM 92.7, also on TV3 Ghana on Facebook and on DSTV channel 279. We're all across the world on 3news.com. We're live as well on 3 News on YouTube. As always, probably brought to you by Flamingo Paint, Simply Superior. Sasso Insecticide Spray and Call Computer Preco. Coming up next year on Ghana Tonight, another setback for the former National Signals burial boss, Governor Dubois, and his wife. The Court of Appeal has also thrown out their bid to challenge a High Court ruling on further disclosures. Well, what does all of this mean? And how does this impact on the case going forward? This is a conversation we're getting into because earlier today, the Court of Appeal dismissed applications by the lawyers representing the former National Signals Bureau Director General, that's Governor Dubois, and his wife, in one case, as well as lawyers for the former CEO of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund, that's a GIF, in the Accra SkyTrain criminal trial. Now, these applications sought to overturn High Court rulings on further disclosures of documents. So what does this mean, right? And I want to get into it, especially taking into cognizance how these two cases have evolved over time. Dennis Babari-Wadam Esquire is an officer of the court. He has been monitoring this quite closely. What does this development mean? Let's start off with the Dubois case.
Well, so it simply means that the case which is before the High Court will proceed uninterrupted. That's because these were interlocutory matters that the Court of Appeal had to deal with. That's because you recall that during the trial at the High Court, there was an application for the Attorney General to disclose, as the accused persons want, further information. Mm-hmm. That is to say, they wanted the full complement of documents that the Attorney General was going to use to prosecute them, in specific reference to some detail of statement of accounts from the national security. For the accused persons, they wanted the information right from 1992 till date. But it was the case of the Attorney General that The case before the court is in respect of a specified period of time, and that's the matters from 1992 till date were not the matters that were in contention, but just matters from 2017 up till 2024. Right. So that has been the matter. The High Court dismissed that particular application, which meant that the Attorney General was not under any obligation to disclose that information. Dissatisfied with that, they filed 2 applications. One, which was determined last week, that was in respect of the prohibition application. That is to say, the ruling that the High Court made in respect of that smacks of bias for which he should be prohibited from hearing the matter. That matter was determined by the Supreme Court last week, and it was determined by way of a dismissal unanimously. The other leg of it had to do with an appeal at the Court of Appeal. That was determined today. The Court of Appeal too also dismissed that particular application. What it now means is that they have to go back to the High Court and continue with the trial.
I see.
In respect of the Sky Train matter, a similar application had been mounted in respect of, for Solomon Asamoah, the former CEO of the Ghana Infrastructure Investment Fund. In his case, he was asking that the Attorney General discloses board meeting minutes. Because recall, the crux of that matter is that the CEO, together with the board chair, they had approved certain funds, 2 million Ghana cedis, to be sunk into this particular project. That we did not see the project, but the money was paid.
True.
And the case of the Attorney General is that this money was not approved by the board. So then, it is the case of the accused person in this particular matter, that's Solomon Asamoah, that in helping me to defend myself, disclose, in addition to all the information you want to put before the court, the minutes, all the minutes of the board meetings.
Right. So as to then
help me. Because it is the accused person's right that you are entitled to full disclosure.
Absolutely.
Now, that was also denied by the High Court. That is the matter which they also took to the Court of Appeal to appeal the decision of the High Court. That today, the Court of Appeal made that determination and they dismissed that matter as well. So what it also means, again, is that they are also back to the High Court to continue with the trial. So, Alfred, these are the updates that are coming by way of the Sky Train trial and also in respect of the trial of Edu Boahen and his wife.
So essentially what this means is that the legal, for the lack of better expression, impediments in the way of these 2 cases that truncated its procession have been removed.
As it stands now, yes, it's fair to say so.
So the cases will proceed as expected?
The cases are expected to proceed. But also remember that every now and then, interlocutory matters come up. There are always filing of processes. And in the absence of any, the expectation is that the trial will continue to proceed. So that is where we find ourselves now when it comes to these 2 particular matters, Alfred.
Interesting stuff. And then, so we'll see how the coming days will look like on this.
Precisely. And this week, of course, we're in court on some of these matters. We're keeping our tabs on and we'll bring our viewers up to speed with the latest in respect of these matters.
We'll keep an eye on this one. Dennis Poperiwa Esquire, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us on this. And it's going to stay with me a bit further because that's coming up next. The Sotifi North Member of Parliament, Ebenezer Kwekwado, is facing the CID investigations as we speak. And we're going to give you the details of what we're learning right now because he's been accused of inciting the youth to attack the NIMOS task force. What really happened at this Shediem area? Now, the full story is coming up because there's been quite a number of statements. The Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources has also issued a statement. Emmanuel Kofi-Boa has condemned the attack on the members of the National Anti-Illegal Mining Operations Secretariat, that's the NIMOS, during that operation at Bronikrom, near Shediem in the Ahafo region. Now, this is an amateur video that we got earlier. Now, it has not been disputed, it's been confirmed. In fact, it's been condemned, as we're seeing now from a number of persons. The NIMOS team was attacked on Saturday by Irish youth numbering over 500 after arresting some persons engaged in illegal mining. Now, here, what you're seeing now is the NIMOS, one of the NIMOS task force members who was attacked by these marauding young people. And fortunately, the Ghana Police Service personnel who were at this particular location came to his rescue, put him in the vehicle that was also vandalized by this irate youth in the area because an illegal mining operator, a Galamsey operator, had been arrested, or some Galamsey operators had been arrested by these NIMOS people who were just doing their job, as has been prescribed for them to do, clamp down on illegal mining. This is not the first time we're seeing this happen. A couple of months ago, we also had to deal with the situation of the IGP's task force, which was set up by the IGP to clamp down on illegal mining, also being attacked by some residents of Bonteso when they went there. And we have a video of that. We'll recall that and show it to you because it reminds us of exactly what has been going on. And we'll be finding out what has emboldened these people to attack the task force members who are supposed to be the ones that's clamping down on illegal mining. They are rather at the receiving end of the anger of the people. Now, if you recall, Dr. Hannah as well, together with some other officials of the Ghana Police Service, personnel for that matter, were also held hostage about a little over 3 months ago when they also went in there to clamp down on people who are engaged in illegal mining. And this keeps happening. So this is not the first time we're seeing this. The Member of Parliament for that area, that's the Esetufi North, Ebenezer Kwekwado, has issued a statement essentially denying his involvement. He's in the eye of the storm. He's also been explaining his side of the story. We're going to put that statement on the screen right now. And then really, we're getting to know as well that he's expected to meet the police CID tomorrow, as has been captured in the Ghana Police Service's statement on this particular issue. So this is it. This is what he put out earlier today, that on the 1st of November, he was en route to a funeral in Esetufi South, when he learned of tensions at Fidium linked to a military operation at a gold mining site. He contacted Honorable Collins Dauda, who is a Member of Parliament for Esetufi South, who asked him to visit the site and engage the military on his behalf. Upon arrival, he introduced himself to the military leader and sought to de-escalate the situation as some youth were gathering at the scene. He advised all parties to move to the police station to make official statement and hand over seized items and suspects to ensure calm. At the Fidium police station, he worked alongside the military, police officers, NIB operatives, and other security personnel as statements were taken. He invited the Zongo chief of Fidium to help restore peace. The chief later transported some military officers in his vehicle. After he, Honorable Ado, left for other funerals, the Zongo chief's vehicle was attacked with its rear glass smashed. He denied inciting the youth or obstructing any security operation, emphasizing his actions were guided by the need to maintain peace and order. He expressed disappointment that the police reported did not acknowledge his efforts in calming the situation. He urged the public to disregard the false reports meant to tarnish his image. He's also reaffirmed his commitment to law, order, and the safety of his constituents. Now, we'll tell you why he's faulting the police for not capturing, as he put it in his words, his effort to try and calm the situation. Well, because the police were quite clear. He has to report to the CID tomorrow to make a statement beyond what he has put in the public. Engineer Dr. Kenashigbe is joining us right now on Zoom. He is the leader of the Ghana Coalition against Galamsey. He's joining us right now. Engineer, thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. You've heard me read the narrative of the Member of Parliament who is in the eye of storm right now, and then also what the CID, in fact, the police statement is asking him to come and do. You have seen this video and what it captures. Clearly, the attack on this NIMOS official troubling, isn't it, in the midst of all of these different narratives we are hearing? If you can unmute for me. If you can unmute for me.
Recalling the fact that we've had these mob attacks on state officials who are doing their legitimate functions. And the unfortunate thing is that in the past, the two incidents that you've mentioned, we have not seen what has happened to these people who have been involved in it. In those situations, there were video footages of the elements that are involved in it, but nothing tends to happen. And so for me, it is important that in this particular situation, we need to let everybody in Ghana know that nobody is above the state institution. And when the state is acting with the powers that we've all given to them. And it's important that the state acts with the toughness that is required to ensure that criminal elements like those that we've seen who are involved in this particular activity do not get away with it. Let's not forget so quickly that General Mahama lost his life in a situation like this. And again, in the situation in Bontresso, the police people also acted with a lot of caution because they had a lot of firepower that they could have used. In this situation as well, you have a colonel who is involved in it, and by his training and all of that, restrained his people. And so we did not have any bloodbath. We should not wait, and then the situation would then escalate. And then you have some military people who would be attacked, who might not be able to restrain themselves, and then we would have casualties. So it is important that we deal with this situation. So we've seen the statement issued by the police. I've seen a few statements or some information also put out by the team from NIMAS. And then we've had the MP as well. And so for me, it's good that the IGP is inviting the MP. I've also seen the Honorable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources also issue a statement and talking about the fact that, these issues will be dealt with. It is very important that we get to the bottom of this particular issue, and everybody who is involved, who can be identified, should be dealt with the full rigors of the law. All the evidence that have been gathered, everybody who's been arrested, the people who are behind that particular activity, do they have a permit? Are they working according to their permit? We need to emphasize that, ensure that all of that is done, and they ought to be punished. They ought to be punished. So it is so important. The coalition, I'm out of town, but the coalition is working on a statement. We will be issuing a statement very soon. Yeah, Alfred.
And you're talking about they've been arrested and as soon as possible. We do know tomorrow all these actors, the member of parliament in question, is expected at the CID to also give a statement on account of exactly what happened. Now, it's instructive that you reference the two previous instances that I referenced. There's no record of any arrest, at least from what we do know.
Correct, yes. And you see, and that's what emboldens people like this. Because in that particular situation, there was also, I think there was, in the Bontresso issue, there was a DCU who came claiming that what they were doing was some sand winning and all of that. And, we did not also see. And this is where I call on His Excellency that these people work at his behest. So when you have a DCU or an MC who is in a particular area when this thing happens, and instead of him supporting the police people who are state actors, come to support the community, and nothing happens to that MC after that incident, nobody in that community is also arrested. You have also the situation of Anabisu as well, where the police officer who is involved, who was supposed to have, gotten the mob to attempt to attack Anabisu, we don't hear anything happening to all of them. This is what emboldens them. Fortunately for us, crime do not have a time bar. So it is important that we, in all of these issues, we go back and deal with the perpetuators of this, the people who are behind it. And we have video footage of all of these people. We should be able to identify them. We should not wait and let the military who would feel, attacked in this and disgraced in this particular manner now want to also go back and say, you know what, these people who did wrong, let's make sure we're punishing them. And they can do that, But we've seen in all the situations that whether it's the police or the military, they have been restrained. So we should not allow this thing. And you see, unfortunately, now this illegal mining has become organized crime. You go into places like South America and all of that, this is what they do. Then they mobilize mobs who are behind all of these people, and they perpetuate these kind of things, and they then overrun the state actors so the president needs to ensure, working together with the Minister of Interior, with the Minister for Defense, to show the power of the state. We need to show it to these criminal elements and tell them that there's no space for them to be able to hide. And those people who are behind this should be fished out and punished as severely as possible.
And you mentioned the Bontresso one that involved the IGP's task force that was attacked. I wanted to hold on a bit. We'll recall what happened in the instance of the Bontresso incident, where the IGP's task force that was set up to fight Galamsey was also attacked by the residents in the area because they had gone there to clamp down on illegal mining activities. In fact, they impounded on some excavators, destroyed some chamfans, and then also picked a few people up. And this is what they were subjected to. Take a look. So, Engineer, there you have it. And this incident happened. In fact, he had to take, as you indicated, there's been some level of restraint in all three instances. In this particular one, the IGP's task force, some officials in there, or personnel, fired some warning shots into the sky to disperse this teeming crowd of residents who were massing up to attack them because they were doing the job of clamping down on Galamsey. The minister in charge of lands and natural resources, Emmanuel Makofebo, has issued a statement. And Engineer, if you indulge me, I'm going to read it because it tells what the next step should be. It says that subsequently, there's been meetings with the Speaker of Parliament and the Minister for the Interior for the conduct of swift and rigorous investigation into this unfortunate circumstance. And this is in line with government's commitment to bring to book all perpetrators who aid, support, or front the continuous decimation of the environment. Does this give you any sense of confidence that, based on at least what he has indicated, that there's going to be swift and rigorous investigation into this matter? The Minister of the Interior has been brought into this to be able to at least clamp down on the persons who masterminded this act.
I think this is comforting, and especially, again, that's why I say you see the statement from the minister. You also hear the statement from the police and how swift those responses have been. And then, the indications from even NIMAS themselves, that I have seen, which then means that something is really going to happen. But the thing about it, again, is that, Alfred, people like yourselves, the media, which is the fourth estate in the realm, we need to be able to put some pressure to make sure that we are getting action. We're getting some action. the Bontresu issues, the past issues, and all of that. We should not let all of these things rest, because these criminal minds are just becoming more and more brazen in their attacks. You know, they go to a police station, look at that, even in the presence of the police, look at what it is that they are doing. And so if we don't tame these things, we will get to a point where, you know, these criminals will take over our nation. They will start in district by district. By the time we see it, we become a banana republic. So it is important that His Excellency, the President, working through his ministers, fortunately, 2 of his ministers have been called on, the Speaker of Parliament have been called on, you know, the IGP has been brought in. Then we need to be able to not only let justice be done, but it should also be seen to be done. We need to be rounding up all the people who are involved. I'm happy that the National Investigation Bureau were also there. They would be able to tell us, use intelligence to be able to pick these criminal elements who are involved in all of this, and make sure that we are getting some punishment, some sanctions. And it's important that we need to speak to the people as well. We should stop allowing these criminal elements to use us to be able to perpetuate their own crimes. And that's why, for me, Alfred, it's important that the people who were arrested, the people who came to the place, those who were driving all of those exhibits that are involved, we need to arrest them. The EPA, the Minerals Commission, needs to come and help us quickly. Because, you see, NIMOS, they are experienced. They know the modus operandi of these criminal elements. The laws, as we have them, there's a buffer between when you're mining and the roads. So when these people are mining close to the road, it is very likely that they do not have any permit, and there's an illegality that is happening. So we need to start right from the place where the people who are mining, the people who came and said they were the owners of the concession in consideration, all the way to the people who masked up, and make sure that we're punishing them. But we need to also recognize the Zongo chief who also came in and also helped in the situation. All of these people also need to be identified and applauded for the good works that they did. But those who have done wrong, they should also be punished. But again, for the MP, I would say that he's innocent until proven guilty. So once there's an invitation of the IGP of him, that investigation should be done, and done very rigorously, and the truth be put out, and all those who are involved in it be punished.
I do appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. At least there's video evidence, right? That
right.
video that's gone viral can be tendered in as evidence. That some people's faces have been identified in there. That will be a very good starting point, is it not?
Definitely. And so immediately,
right.
Those are the people that I'll be expecting that the police command, working together with the police headquarters, will start picking these people up this very evening. Fortunately, the NIB were also there as well, so they would be able to use intelligence to start picking all of these people and bringing them to Accra, and making sure that we are throwing the book at them. And we should make sure that within that, as we are throwing the Act 995 at them, that minimum 15 years, these people should be facing that. And we should also make sure that we're going after the kingpins, the people who came there with all those vehicles and all of those vehicles should also be seized as
right.
part of the evidence in terms of the prosecution that we're going to do. As I said, the coalition, we will be issuing a statement very soon. We'll also be petitioning the IGP and His Excellency the President as well, to make sure we can make sure that our people, the NIMASs who we have put, who put their lives exactly, are protected.
Perfect. Stay with me, engineer. Stay with me, because there's another development I'm going to seek your thoughts on. But this is what Alhaji Collins Dauda, whose name has been mentioned in this particular incident, he put out a statement earlier, also seeking to clarify exactly how he got involved. He says when the calls kept coming, the Stephen North MP contacted me saying he was coming for a funeral in my constituency. Quote, I pleaded with him, giving his position to go back and speak with the commander of the team, hoping he would be able to get a briefing. He did not initially plan to go. He only became involved because I asked him to. That's what Collins Dauda said. I did not instruct the commander to release anyone arrested. If he is a Catholic, he should swear with his rosary. If not, he can use his Bible. I am willing to hold the Quran and swear. The conversation was not even completed, and the line dropped. I did not give any instructions to release the suspects. So that's Alhaji Collins Dauda. He's gone to that length, in that extent, to bringing all of these elements to, as it were, assert his innocence, for the lack of better expression, in this. But all of this is subject to police investigation. So as you indicated, yes, they are innocent until proven guilty. We'll see how tomorrow goes. But there's one that would interest you, because you, together with Martin Pebu, Edem Senanu, you all petitioned the CID, right, on the Ghana Police Service on this Akunta mining matter, right? The Attorney General,
correct,
Dr.
Correct.
Ayine, yes, he took interest in this matter. Now, this case is now proceeding, but there's been a development, because he has filed a notice to withdraw the charges against the fourth accused, Edward Akwaku, general manager of Akunta Mining, after he offered to testify as a prosecution witness. I mean, you're a key architect in this particular case, as it were. How does this strike you, the development that the Attorney General and the decision is taking?
Well, the Attorney General is a very experienced lawyer, litigant, before becoming Attorney General. And so if he gets a situation where he would get one of the accused to become a prosecution witness, I'm pretty sure he will be in the right space to be able to do that. So if you take a general manager, he definitely would be a worker for Akunta Mining, and definitely he also should be a principal person. He definitely should know. And so I'm hoping that whatever evidence he's shown to the Attorney General would be able to help us make sure that the prosecution of the directors of Akunta Mining and everybody who's been involved in this criminality all the way from 2022 or up to this particular time are prosecuted. It is really very important that we are beginning to see some progress so far as this case is concerned. But Alfred, you remember that in that when we met His Excellency the President, when the Attorney General mentioned the progress that was being made by on this Akunta Mining issue, we also asked about the other politically exposed persons whose cases were pending, and Attorney General told us that there was some work going on. It will be important for you, the media, to also ask the Attorney General to brief all of us so that we know where those particular cases have gone to. It would also be important to find out what is happening to the Professor Frimpong Boateng case as well. All those politically exposed persons who were mentioned in those cases as well. What is actually happening so far as those cases are concerned? We need, the elephant in the room is the politically exposed persons who are involved in this galamsey. It's mostly not the people you find in the pit. It is the people who are funding this thing. So it's good that this case is making progress, and we would hope that the Attorney General would work on all the other cases as well that is happening in the Yoko case that is also going on. All of those would also be dealt with.
I truly appreciate you. Thank you. Engineer Kenachikwe, thank you for joining us here on Ghana Tonight. He is the convener of the Ghana Coalition Against Galamsey. In this capacity, that's what he spoke about, but also we do know that he's the CEO of the Ghana Chamber of Mines. He, together with 3 others, petitioned the CID on this Akunta Mining case. Another petitioner, Martin Pebu, private legal practitioner, is joining us as well on Zoom. Counsel, good evening. Thank you for joining us. I mean, this is the development in the case that you, together with Engineer Kenachikwe, whom you just heard talking, petitioned the CID, this administration, the Attorney General has taken this matter up, but the development is that the fourth accused, the general manager of Akunta Mining, has had his charges withdrawn because he has agreed to serve as a prosecution witness. I mean, how does this come to you or get to you, Counsel?
Yes, it's good because, you're looking for evidence. So if the fourth person is willing, he was part of the cabal. He was part of Bernard Buesuaku's inner circle, director of Akunta Mining. So he has close evidence. So it's better you give him his freedom so that he can help to nail the rest of the persons involved. So that is good. It tells you, Dr. Ayine, like we've been saying, very clear-minded. It tells you that what Akwaku is bringing on is really worth it. It's worth it because Dr. Ayine knows that if it's not worth it, the public will ask for his blood. So he would not lightly bring on Akwaku as a prosecution witness if his evidence is not worth it.
Perfect. I thank you so much. And Engineer Ashibe, I'll discharge you now. Thank you for joining us. But Lawyer Martin Bebo, stay with me because I need you more on the next issue that's coming up next. Acting head of legal at the Ghana Revenue Authority has been arrested over the controversial SML deal. Now, what's behind the investigation? That's the question that we're going to give you some detail on right now, because we received this notice from the Office of Special Prosecutor earlier today. We're going to put that on the screen right now. So the Office of Special Prosecutor arrested the acting head of legal at the Ghana Revenue Authority, Freeman Saba. Mr. Saba is under investigation for suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses, as well as obstruction of justice in respect of the GRA Strategic Mobilization Ghana Limited Revenue Assurance Contract. So that's what we do know. It's all because of this SML GRA deal. That's essentially what the details have it. In fact, what we're learning right now is that there's some areas of concern and impact for the OSP in looking into Freeman Saba's involvement in this GRA SML deal, suspected corruption and corruption-related offenses, critical charge of obstruction of justice, all in relation to this GRA SML deal. Lawyer Martin Bebo, you had made this call over the weekend when we spoke on Key Point that because of the statement that he, Mr. Saba, issued when Gary Nimakon wrote to GRA seeking clarity on exactly what SML had done, you said he had questions to answer. Now, the OSP appear to have taken your advice and gone on the path. He has been arrested. Lawyer Martin Bebo, how does this development get to you?
It's very exciting. It's good because what it does is that it sends a clear signal to other public officers to be wary of obstructing justice. To be wary of obstructing justice. What is the context of this case? You know, we've had a KPMG report which said some of the work had not been done. Then now you have the OSP also investigating. So perhaps what the public officer would have done, and then also you see the Manasseh documentary. You see that then? Yes, you see the Manasseh documentary where Christian Soti, MD of the SML, said that they don't do those work, transaction audit, etc. Then they were asked, but there's even publication in the Daily Graphic that SML has saved Ghana about 3 billion Ghana cedis. And he said he's not aware, he's not part of it. Then you watch the documentary, then you see the head of IT of SML, a certain one, right? So, I mean, but you see him in the documentary. I mean, the picture is worth 1,000 words. He's asked, Mr. IT manager, your flow meters, etc., that you use in measuring the quantity of the oil that's being imported by the various companies in the MPA tanks, are they better than the GRA flow meters, etc.? Then he says, no. The GRA and MPA flow meters and other equipment are better. So in the context of all this, it beggars belief that Mr. Freeman Saba would write a letter to say that work has been done. Why don't you say, look, this matter is under investigation, so let the investigators finish. So that's the key thing, that he has, basically gone ahead of himself, and so it is appropriate that the OSP investigates the matter. We are not by any indication at all saying that Mr. Freeman Saba, the lawyer, is guilty of any offense. No, that's not what we are saying. What we are saying is that based on the kind of answers he's given when investigations are ongoing, right? And even before this current investigation by OSP, the legal officer, I would do a documentary and also even look at the KPMG one. We all know that government, so sometimes, I mean, it was to be expected that because KPMG does a lot of business with Akufo-Addo's government, they would not be as thorough and would not put everything out. We said it. We said that KPMG was too close to government to do an independent review, right? But at least even the KPMG report itself indicts SML in several respects. So these were sufficient to cause the officer to say, look, we are not passing judgment on the work done so far because it's with the OSP. So for him to have run ahead of him, etc., where even in the Manasseh documentary, the same GRA officers who were seized with the actual work said they don't use the SML data. The people who were in charge of the tank farms who were monitoring the flow meters. You see the tank farms, you find the big tank farms where you have the oil kept in and the oil, the importers will come for their oil, etc., said that they don't use SML data. So how can a lawyer of the same GRA go out to write that work has been done? You go into the OSP report and then you find paragraph 215. Viewers can refer to it. 215, you see a chronicling of how the SML equipment were not working for years. You look at paragraph 212, 213, etc. There are other paragraphs where you also find that Ofori-Atta asks for money to be paid. Ken Ofori-Atta, Minister of Finance at the time, brother to President Akufo-Addo, asked for money to be paid to SML when he himself knew that work had not been done. So it's good that Mr. Saba would answer questions, and so we'll get to the bottom of it.
I see, but you see, Counsel, if the OSP's own investigative report, you reference page 215, 212, I'm going to pull that up in a bit, but if the OSP's own report does capture the fact that SML did not do what it was paid or contracted to do, would you agree with those who also ask the question that, look, why is the OSP then demanding a refund of just 125 million cedis when over $1 billion was involved in this entire SML GRA deal, which his own investigative report says SML did not do what they were contracted to do? Why take 125 million when over $1 billion has gone into this deal? Would you agree with those who say something more must be demanded?
Absolutely, yes. And we made that point on Saturday on the key points that OSP must go for far more than the 125 million. As far as I'm concerned, look, it's almost all the money. The 1.4 billion that has been paid, 1.4 billion Ghana cedis. All of it because you see that this contract is one that from day one, SML never gave us value for money. In the report, you see it clearly. OSP's own report shows that at the time Ofori-Atta wrote to controller to pay SML money. Okay, so you are talking about when SML came in June 2018, right? By October 2018, etc. Still, SML was struggling. They hadn't been able to, so there was no basis to pay them. Then you go to the next salient point, which is that in October 2019, 3rd October, when Kofi Nti, former GRA boss, signed the letter for the contract for renewal, it was void because Kofi Nti had left office on the 1st of October 2019. So that was void. Then another key point, you go to 2020, April 2020, Osafo Mafo, having said that, listen, GRA itself even wrote earlier on in 2018 to service providers that, look, government is about to use ICOM. Government is about to introduce ICOMs. When we say ICOMs, that's Integrated Customs Management System. So to collect the, taxes, etc. for us. So it was going to be a single provider. So all the other providers will stop. So GRA itself also wrote based on Osafo Mafo's letter. So from 2018, then you find the letter of 20th April 2020, where SML itself now sought to write to Osafo Mafo 2020. Mr. Ocansey, let's put all the emphasis on 2020. Osafo Mafo didn't respond to them. So it was clear. You are begging that, please, can you take a second look? Let us continue to work. That's SML's letter to Osafo Mafu, dated 20th April 2020. Osafo Mafu didn't respond. It's because his letter had come earlier on. And then SML is responding on 20th April 2020. Osafo Mafu doesn't respond. So if somebody has told you, a government senior minister tells you that, look, your services have come to an end, and so if anything, you are only to be paid, if you can prove that you've done any work. That's if you can justify. How can you continue from 2020 to 2024 and say you'll be paid? It's illegal money. So this is what the Supreme Court says. They will look at each case, okay, on a case-by-case basis to when a contract is void. That's the contract doesn't exist. It is tainted by illegalities. I think this one is likely the Supreme Court to say no money should be paid. Right. Because Osafo Mafu's letter was clear and icons was brought in. And also we've already made the point that SML didn't even have any good equipment anyway. Their equipment were bad. They were obsolete. Their own managers and MD said it. So when a company's own MD and IT manager say, look, the MD says we don't do this work. IT manager says our equipment.
And indeed, that's all what you reference is captured in this OSP investigation report. The 200.213, 215, all of this that you reference is in there. The full complement of it you'll find on 3news.com. We're back shortly after this quick break. Stay with us. This is Ghana Tonight.
Yes, next. Hey, Nadia Benson, Asamo.
Why are more and more professionals choosing Flamingo paint?
As an interior decorator, I aim for that beautiful, elegant look. Flamingo paint has great hiding ability to cover and transform old walls easily with just one coat.
Impressive. For me, as a professional painter, I love Flamingo paints because with these small paints, I paint huge area, meaning more profit for me. Great value for money.
As an architect, Flamingo paint, with its well-researched and solid composition, guarantees durability for all my buildings.
Flamingo paint, superior hiding, superior coverage, superior durability. Flamingo paint, simply superior.
In my line of work, a confident smile is everything. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste keeps me on top of my game and ensures my smile is always radiant and bright.
With the tiring nature of my job, we spend several hours under the scorching sun. To keep our teeth white and our breath fresh all the time, we use none other than Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. Kale Charcoal Toothpaste. You're on a Kessie and then a kit one.
Samayo Kendini, a who be here, Semetra Sapapadia to a mammy man for Kel Chaco's natural ingredients, and a bomb is several buying, a man is swing, Nesasu Mama Hotel so a will beg you.
Kel Chaco toothpaste. Choose Kel Charcoal toothpaste for anti-cavity, whiter teeth, and fresher breath all day. Available in 80-gram and 150-gram. Grab yours today.
Kel, happy smile. This advert is FDA approved.
Kwame and his uncle are almost here.
Wait a minute. This one too, your friend Kwame.
Wait, Kwame. As in the same Kwame again?
Yes, Mommy.
The second coming. Into all this tension just to reintroduce that broke boy from Kaswa.
Why would you deceive the family like this again?
Now I understand the whole delay. Troll from Kaswa. Why wouldn't he be late? Or be late, of course.
Star 712 hash, star 712 hash. You go be the luckiest. Copy from Georgia be luckiest. From not the pure cause she be luckiest. Yeah, you go be lucky, luckiest. No matter what you're lucky. Everybody go be the luckiest.
That's Kwame!
Send your God the apple boom. If you're poor, so would the coming of the Son of Man be.
Hey.
Is that his car?
Ha! Even now, your shadow the way designer.
I use my own mouth to reject him. Oh, this is my mouth. Look at that.
Kwame, my son. Now, tell me the truth. How did this all happen?
Oh, mommy, simple direction. Mr. Good Luck no check me well.
Yeah,
man.
Easy car. Or dial star 712 hash.
The devil is a liar.
He picked his ticket and entered his lucky 5-digit number.
I'm his birthday.
Oh, how romantic.
And he followed the prompt. Yes. And then boom, confirmation test.
One quick, pick 5 numbers for me, okay? I'm feeling like service.
Dial star 712 hash. Choose your ticket. Enter your lucky number. Follow the prompt and let destiny handle the
You see how they love you now?
Yo, they are family Kemasimono. Before December, may release a motivational album. Patapa, my super.
This promotion is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform.
Welcome back. This is Ghana Tonight. An unfortunate development in the Upper East region as its regional police command has confirmed the death of one immigration officer following an attack by unknown assailants. The assailants shot 2 immigration officers on Sunday, 2nd November, that was yesterday, at about 10 p.m. in Nagani, that's in the Garut-Tempani area. Now, the officers were ambushed while returning to their base after conducting foot patrols. The wounded officers were rushed to Bolgatanga Regional Hospital, where one was sadly pronounced dead. The attackers made away with 2 AK-47 rifles belonging to the officers. A statement from the police command says they are on a manhunt for the unknown assailants. Upper East Regional Correspondent Kasu Senyala has been reporting that the Inspector General of Police has dispatched a team of investigators and intelligence officers to Garut-Tempani to support the probe. The command assured the public that a thorough investigation is underway to unravel the crime and also bring the perpetrators to book. We've got a statement from the Ghana Immigration Service as well on this matter. We're going to put it on the screen right now. Quite unfortunate development. The service confirms the attack on the 2 immigration officers who were shot at Nangrani in the Tempani district in the Upper East region on their return from duty on a motorbike. The assailants laid ambush and opened fire on the unsuspecting officers. The distressing incident occurred Sunday, November 2 at approximately 8:30 p.m. The 2 assailants, that's the 2 Assistant Immigration Control Officer AICO 1 Philip Latte and AICO 1 Cosmas Dakura endured gunshot wounds and were promptly administered initial medical care at the Bansore Clinic in Timpani before being transferred to the Bogatanga Regional Hospital. Regrettably, AICO 1 Cosmos Dakura later succumbed to his injuries and passed away in the early hours of November 3, that's today. The Ghana Immigration Service, in collaboration with the Ghana Police Service, is actively investigating the circumstances surrounding this incident. Additional updates will be shared as more information emerges. On a rather sad note, I want to say thank you for staying with us here on Ghana Tonight. It's raining heavily in some parts of the capital, so if you're watching us, please keep safe. We're getting reports from the Legon area, the Okponglo, some flooding on the road and all. And this rain's accompanied by some thunderstorm activity in many parts of the capital, so please keep safe if you're on the road. Thank you. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a good night.
Ghana Tonight is brought to you by Flamingo Paint. Superior durability, superior hiding, superior coverage, simply superior.
Sasso Insect